The Motherland has arrived. Unfortunately, I am Superman of Doom. The people of the Motherland have come. Unfortunately, I am Superman of Doom. Chapter 3. Meng responded firmly. He was not appeasing little lowly with empty words, but telling the fact that the current world can happen. Before Iron Man Tony Stark was alive, he also once went back in time through the quantum realm and saw his long-dead father. Then I'll have to grow up quickly, little Morgan whispered to himself expectantly. In addition, even if someone like your father dies, there are too many things left in this world. Meng continued. Tomorrow, I will take you out to sea, and you will know. Get out of the cabin. Little Morgan had slowly closed his eyes and muttered in a low voice, Mom. I'm not allowed to go outside. Danger. Meng replied. Don't worry, it's not that I'm still here. Quote. Little Morgan did not respond. She was already asleep, with a light smile of anticipation and longing on her tired little face, and an even exhalation. Meng also wants to sleep. But the problem is that he is dreaming now, and artificial intelligence does not need to sleep. I don't know how long I will stay in this dreamland. Meng muttered secretly. The time in the dream was meaningless. Maybe a few hours would pass, maybe a few days, maybe even a week or two. However, the actions of his own existence are not completely free. Although he can walk freely in this wooden room at the moment, there is a subtle shackle that restricts him from going elsewhere. This feeling of being limited, perhaps artificial intelligence does not feel that there is any problem, but it makes Meng, who is a human consciousness, feel unhappy from the bottom of his heart. Let's learn more about the current state of the dream world. In any case, Meng must confirm whether his bold idea just now is feasible. Is the Marvel world in this dream a real and complete structure? This is not difficult to confirm. Although Meng can't leave the current room, he can still do it using a search engine. Just check whether other countries and cities exist outside the dream cabin room. And whether there is a lot of knowledge and information on the internet that he personally has never known, it can basically be preliminarily judged. Thinking of this, Meng couldn't help but extend his consciousness to the laptop on the wooden table in the room. Internet. This classmate, Meng-san. A shout with a reprimanding tone rang out in the classroom. A silver-haired boy around the age of 18, waking up from a dream with a yawn, his overly long bangs covering his eyebrows. In the hot summer, he wears a pair of frosted gloves. The corner of the teenager's mouth still has a trace of waterline, and the school uniform he is wearing is also a little messy, but the handsome facial features with clear contours, like rare silver hair with a natural glossy texture, can make girls feel envious of the natural white and beautiful. The body is full of sunshine and grass but clean, in this era of common faces. It is difficult to make others dislike him. Meng opened his eyes, shook his arms that were a little numb, and was still in the confusion of waking up, and heard the man next to him ask, What did you dream about? Quote. The Iron Man family. Meng subconsciously replied. Iron Man? What is that? Marvel. Iron Man, have you ever seen a movie? Yes. Meng muttered the words, gradually realizing that something was wrong. He was sitting in a single-backed chair with a small white square desk stacked on top of it. An open physics book was pressed by his hands and Fang Kai's side face, and the paper was still wet. Meng raised his eyes after realizing it. 50 people were greeted by a classroom with a capacity of 50 people. Most of the surrounding students had an expression of, failed to save you. And next to him stood a middle-aged man with a Mediterranean sea, and the anger of the other party was already written on his face. The call in question just now was initiated by the other party. Sorry. Meng immediately got up from his seat, knowing that the place where he slept was not appropriate. Meng-san, there is still a week to go to the federal college entrance examination, and you also ran to dye your hair, such an attitude. Never mind. Quote. The physics teacher shook his head and sighed, giving up before he could start persuading. Meng felt unimpressed, just because the college entrance examination was in a week, so he should rest well and face it with a relaxed attitude. After 3 years of high school, there is still 1 week left, and the meeting will be done, and they will not be able to get it. Even if you work hard, it's too late. Seeing that Meng did not have the slightest intention of repentance, the physics teacher stretched out his hand and spat out with hatred that iron is not steel. Go up, solve the problem. Okay. Meng still gave the teacher a face, left his seat and walked to the smart blackboard podium. Under the gaze of 50 classmates watching the play, changing one person has a feeling of backstabbing each other, but Meng seems very casual and natural. After all, as a traverser, the mentality of entering society has long been completely different from the mentality of students walking on thin ice. Meng picked up the smart pen from the podium. 8 subjects in the college entrance examination. Federal physics is his weakest subject, and it is not bad to pass on weekdays. And one of the so-called world truths like physics, you can know at a glance whether you will understand, will not. Mathematics, chemistry, physics, etc., you will never be able to pretend to understand, brother. Meng glanced at the topics on the smart blackboard. Obviously every word could be understood, but together it could not be understood. Especially with some strangely shaped mechanical compositions. Very good. Not at all. Yi Meng was relieved in his heart. If this question was placed on the paper, it was also a dispute question in the bottom, and no more than 3 people in the class could solve it. It is estimated that the physics teacher is also dizzy, so he will call him this kind of scumbag to do it. Apologize sincerely. Yi Meng did not intend to waste time standing for a few more seconds like others, and was about to abandon his pen and retire from the podium, when he turned around and suddenly froze. A familiar and subtle sense of static electricity came to mind like a light. 0004 Can I prepare for the exam when I sleep? Seeing Yi Meng suddenly in a daze, motionless pestle on the podium. Yang Wei, the class leader sitting in the middle of the classroom, was immediately dissatisfied. His family conditions were extremely superior. He was a rich third generation. He had top grades in the class, and he was very good, which should be the highest popularity in the class. However, although his appearance is not bad, it is impossible to compare with Yi Meng's scourge. After 3 years of high school, Yi Meng, an otaku plus school scum, obviously did nothing, and as a result, he quietly won the popularity king of the class at the end of each year. Of course, this may also be the reason why there are more female students in the class. Yang Wei glanced not far away and saw that a cute girl with a capable ponytail in the class was also looking at the back on the stage intently, and a wave of anger suddenly surged up. People are more angry than people. Yang Wei hates these student scum who waste social resources the most. If it is personal grades or family conditions are good, it is okay. But the other party is sparse and ordinary and nothing is as good as himself, flashy, and relies on a rich woman's face to eat food to get preferential treatment. Can a handsome man do whatever he wants? Although he was so angry, Yang Wei still showed a gentle smile and said in a harmonious voice, "Classmate Yi Meng. It's almost time for class, it doesn't matter if you don't do it. Give the teacher time to lecture." Quote. His physics results are particularly strong, and he is often selected in the whole school competition, but he has not yet found an idea to solve the problem. You can imagine the difficulty factor of this problem. Of course, Yang Wei seemed to help Yi Meng talk to solve the siege, but in fact he was hinting that the other party was wasting time. Which also caused many male students in the class to show unpleasant expressions. Seeing this, Yang Wei was overjoyed in his heart. He originally wanted to let Yi Meng come down immediately, but now he wanted Yi Meng to continue to stay on it. You stand. It's better to stay on it for a little longer. Not only did he make a mistake on the stage, but he also had to face the collective grievances of the class later. Murderous heart. This is murderous heart. Yang Wei felt that he had finally mastered the words that his father, as a business tycoon, taught on a daily basis. Tap. Yang Wei's body suddenly froze, and his cheerful thoughts and expectations were interrupted by the sound of the smart pen falling on the smart blackboard. He looked at the blackboard in front of him with wide eyes, looked at the figure on the stage, and couldn't help but think in his heart, it won't really be solved by the other party, right? The class was so quiet that needles could be heard, except for the slight sound of brushstrokes and the blackboard screen. Eamon's hand fell, and the blackboard quickly listed a row of equation formula calculations. From the beginning of the answer, the physics teacher took out a pair of black-framed glasses from his sleeve pocket and put them on, watching the process carefully. Yi Meng's movements did not stop until the result was obtained, and then he lowered his right wrist and looked at the panel answer that even he felt a little strange. Teacher, is this correct? Quote. Saying that, Yi Meng looked back at the physics teacher in the audience. The physics teacher hesitated to respond. The answer is correct, it's just the process, it's not right. I know. Class leader Yang Wei breathed a sigh of relief and comforted with a smile. Student Yi Meng, it is useless to memorize physics answers, you must know how to move the brain. Otherwise the topic will not work if you modify it casually. Quote. That's not right. The physics teacher suddenly pushed the black-framed glasses on the bridge of his nose and shook his head. This problem-solving process is also correct. Quote. Didn't. Wrong. Squad leader Yang Wei froze again. It's just different from the standard problem-solving process. It's another problem-solving idea, which is cleaner than the standard problem-solving process. But the method and answer are scored correctly. Quote. The physics teacher pondered, looked at Yi Meng and asked, who taught you to solve problems like this? First chapter previous